Welcome back to Bros Talking Sports. I'm your host, Oscar. Here are my co-hosts. Only Shay today. Max is out. He just had surgery on his finger. Hope everything should be all right with him. But so we gave him the day off today. And 15 seconds in, Shay's on his phone. How you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm good. Call me all. I thought we were gonna take a second still. Then you just went into it. And I was just like, okay.
So yeah, Max is just had surgery on his finger. Hopefully everything's all good, like I just said. Make sure you guys like, subscribe button. Shay, you brought some interesting segment on the show today.
Yeah, let's we got a week left before the playoffs. I don't remember who I saw do it, but I thought it was a pretty good idea. I want to ask you what teams, well, not necessarily what teams, but how much these teams should panic going into the playoffs.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being no panic at all, everything's good. 10 being panic button, we got an issue. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
So we'll start easy. We're gonna start in the AFC. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens.
You've beaten every team, every hard team you've had to face. The only team, actually, I'll give it a 2. If you have to face the Browns, you might have a problem. But if you don't have to face anybody in the division, you beat everybody that's essentially not in your division. So as long as you don't play the Browns, you should be okay.
Yeah, right there, best team right now, best team in the league. Just had probably their best game all season against the number 2 team that we'll get to in a second. But yeah, this team's rolling right now. So we go to the number 2 seed in the AFC off a huge loss to the Ravens and a big game for them this week, the Miami Dolphins. What's their panic meter looking at right now?
Probably.
Remember, they've already clinched the playoffs, so they're in the playoffs.
I know that. Is this panic meter to make the Super Bowl or just
This is just based off what's been happening recently. So they just came off a big loss. How much as a team are you do they going to take that loss last week and are they starting to panic, or are they still going to be pretty good rolling into the playoffs? What are we thinking?
It really honestly depends on this week. If you win this week, I think they do, I think your meter is at a 3 or 4 because listen, you're gonna get past the first round if you're if you win this week, you're the 2 seed, right? So you're gonna have to play either the Colts, Texans, Jaguars, one of those AFC South teams that probably ain't the best this year, or even Buffalo again, which they could get the 7 seed too. So one of those teams could be the 7 seed, and I think you should be okay in the first round. Second round, you're gonna have problems.
This is the way Buffalo misses the playoffs, right? I don't know the exact route, but it's they lose. And then Pittsburgh wins? Is that all it is?
Don't worry, we'll get into it.
Because
Don't worry, we'll get into it.
Because I saw something on that. All right, so yeah, I think it's they're in middle. They're a 4 or 5 right now. Because
I said 3 or 4.
They got embarrassed last week, and they have a big game this week. And like you said, if they lose, it might be all right, big panic. But right now, I would say it's only a 4 or 5 maybe because it was a big loss for them.
Exactly, I wouldn't be too worried.
Kansas City Chiefs. Now they just had a win last week, but again, they were playing pretty bad up until that game, and they kicked a lot of field goals in that game. What do you think their panic meter is at right now?
6 or 7. Listen, you guys have no offensive weapons outside of Travis Kelce right now. Travis Kelce.
To be honest, I wouldn't even consider him an offensive weapon because
he
literally. I actually saw this other segment, fantasy playoff numbers.
I've seen this.
Yeah, right. Logan Thomas had more than him. This man single-handedly lost me my fantasy season. I blame everything on him.
Yeah,
everything on him.
So essentially, they have nobody outside of Travis Kelce. Mahomes isn't playing well. They're lucky they have a top 5 defense this year.
Defense is very good
because their defense
they have Andy Reid, so that's always good.
Yeah, so I'm not too concerned because they still have Mahomes, a top 5 defense, and Andy Reid. So I'm not too concerned, but a 6 or 7 compared to other years where I'd be a 2 or a 1 even for them. So yeah.
And then the last team that's in the playoffs right now, but the Jacksonville Jaguars. Actually, they're not even too much of it. I don't even want to get into that too much. I'm trying to think. The Cleveland Browns.
Okay, yeah, the Browns are in the playoffs.
Because they're locked in right now. I don't want to. That's kind of all I want to get into.
Locked in 5 seed. I'm going to go with a 3 or 4. Same thing as the Dolphins here because, listen, you're playing the house money at this point. You're not supposed to be here. Nobody thought you guys were going to be here. You have Joe Flacco starting. This is a season that, hey, listen, if we just made it to the playoffs, congrats. If we go any farther, that's even better. So a 3 or 4, essentially, because your first round matchup is going to be whoever wins the AFC South, right? Then after that, it's either going to be Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, Ravens, or even.
I mean, most likely it's going to be Baltimore, but again, it could be Miami.
Exactly.
I would assume it's Miami or Baltimore.
So if it is Miami, congrats, you have a good shot to beating Miami. But again, if it's Baltimore, it's a toss-up game.
But yeah, it's totally not out of the question. Like I said, I think the Browns are the second. Like if the Ravens are a 1, the Browns are like a 2 because there's nothing to panic about. They like you said, no one really expected them to be here. There's no pressure on this Browns team to succeed. Like they're going in as the wild card team. They're going to be the underdog in actually they might even be favored in the first game of the playoffs.
They probably will.
But you're the underdog. You're the lower seeded going into every game. So you got nothing to really lose. Go out there and play and do Joe Flacco, do what you can do and excite some people. So that's really it for the AFC. The NFC teams.
You want to give me the big 4?
Yeah, we'll get like basically the teams that are. I mean, we could do the teams that are locked in. There's actually 5,
let's
but
we can do 5.
we'll start easy. We'll go to the San Francisco 49ers.
A 6 or 5.
Really, you think they're that high to panic?
Not you don't have to. There's not panic, but like you have to get to the NFC Championship game this year. And
I agree that there's pressure, but I don't think there's any. They're not really like panicking right now because while they did lose to Baltimore, Purdy played his worst game he's played by far.
That's true.
And now they just steamrolled through Washington. However, McCaffrey got banged up a little bit, so that could be a bit of a thing where you're like, ooh, I don't know, like they locked in the number 1 seed. I feel like they're very low, even though
there's more pressure. There is panic.
There is pressure. Yes,
there's more pressure than panic because if they don't get to this. I think the Super Bowl this year, this is a failure.
True.
They don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure, right? So I don't think there's panic, but I think there's pressure. So actually, my panic meter would probably go down to like a 3 or 4, just in case like McCaffrey may get hurt or he's still injured. So
again, this is a San Francisco team that's gotten very close in the past so many years. The last 5 years, they've gotten very close. Every single 1 year they made it to the Super Bowl, lost. They've gotten to the championship game and lost a couple. This is a team that's like is just gotten close and lose like the Packers from years ago, and they get close and they just couldn't finish it. This is kind of what the Niners have become, and if they continue to do that, everyone's going to start looking at them like, do we really believe in this team? Because every year they get close and they just mess up.
Yeah,
we go to the 2 seed, the Dallas Cowboys, off a close questionable win against the Lions. However, they pretty much are win and they locked on the division. Actually, have they? No, they have to win and clinch the division.
Yep.
What do you think about them?
Cowboys panic meter probably the same about the Niners, 3 or 4. Listen, like you could it's all matchups in the playoffs, right? If you play Philly and you're at home, you have a good chance to beat them. If you're on the road, you probably don't have a good chance. If you get that 2 seed, which is most likely this week.
They should get the 2 seed.
Exactly. They should get the 2 seed.
They locked out. They're not much panic right now. They're pretty excited because Philly just lost to the Cardinals and they locked themselves up in a 2 seed spot pretty much.
Yeah.
They had no business being in that 2 seed. They should be a 5 seed, but again, things happen and they lucked out.
They took care of business at home, and they did their thing.
Yeah, listen, they beat Detroit as much as it was a questionable game. They got it done.
So yeah, listen, I'll give it 3 or 4. It all depends on matchups. If you have to go to San Francisco, I'm worried. I don't think you could beat San Francisco, but like I said, if you have home field advantage all throughout the playoffs and Niners lose in the divisional game, then yeah, you got a good shot.
I just want to say if we go back to my before season predictions, I had Dallas going to the Super Bowl, and the one thing I said is that they would not have to play San Francisco. They would play Philly and beat Philly. It's looking like second round will be San Francisco versus the Eagles.
Oh my God.
And the Cowboys versus someone else. If the Cowboys win and then the Eagles beat the Niners, which again, totally possible. I know the Eagles are playing bad, but it's possible. The Cowboys get a home playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Which I'm saying, it's like I said, it's a possibility. But again, the Eagles are playing really bad football right now. Like they have lost 4 of their last 5?
Yeah.
And the game that they won, I don't even know if they should have. I mean, they played bad too. They had the Giants almost beat them.
They might lose.
If Tyrod played the whole game, that's probably a win for the Giants.
They
if
might
you look at that,
there's a good chance they lose this week.
It's who knows what's happening? They're playing bad.
Jalen Hurts is not the same, but
their offense played pretty good last week. It was their defense that was awful. Like they're just a bad team. Like they're playing bad right now. We'll go to them right now. What's the Philadelphia Eagles panic meter?
10. You're all the way at a 10. I mean, there's listen, Jalen Hurts is playing worse. I see. You don't even have to like give me numbers. I see it on the field. He's not making throws he made last year.
No, he's not. And
He's not.
when you have the whole entire stadium booing you at home, the entire stadium is booing you in a game like that. Everyone is saying Nick Sirianni is not a good coach. Everyone's questioning the coaching staff. Like, there's a lot of issues going on. Even though they're a playoff team right now, there's a lot of issues going on. They're the highest team panic going into the playoffs by 100%. Far.
Yeah, actually, this is really tough for me to say, but I don't think this is on Nick Sirianni. I actually think he's an okay coach. I think some of these, like, not the talent, but like the attitude on some of these guys on the Philly.
Listen, I
not Jalen Hurts and Jason Kelce, everybody else on the team. Because
I agree with you with like, and Devontae Smith just got hurt too, like going in. So like, but yeah, end of the game last week, it was like, I believe it was tied. And the Eagles got like second and something, and they pretty much just ran 2 run plays in a row, 2 QB powers just to settle for the field goal. The stadium was booing like you wouldn't believe. Everyone is like, what are we doing? I mean, like, and they just had that's a bad loss in a game like that.
Yeah, you can't lose that one.
So it's, I think the Eagles are a 9 or a 10. Like they're panicking right now. Because again, this was pretty much they're going to lose a lot of guys too. Like this was their year. You might get Jason Kelce retiring.
Yeah.
I mean, Lane Johnson could go soon. Like you got these guys that are like offensive linemen that could go, and your team just breaks down at this point.
Yeah.
And now your quarterback's getting paid $50+ million. So
100%.
We'll go to some easier with the last two. We want to group them together. The Lions and the Rams, the last two that are locked in.
Yeah.
I think both of these teams are minimal panic because the Lions haven't made the playoffs in freaking years, so their fans are just happy that they're here.
Exactly.
And the Rams, the Rams went from being good in the start of the season to
I said they'd make the playoffs.
You said they'd make the playoffs. We went from them being good, and we're like, they're going to make the playoffs, to them being awful, and we both were like, oh yeah, they're not going to the playoffs. No shot.
Even when I said they were bad, I was like, they're still going to make the playoffs.
No, we said when they were 3-6. You were like
3-6. I said no.
Yeah,
but
you're 3-6. Remember, I brought it up on the podcast. Like, remember when you said the Rams were making the playoffs? You're like, yeah, I regret that much. Like it was looking bad. And I had same thing with the Packers, who again they're in a winning get in game. Like they both went from looking good to being terrible to now looking like decent again. So it's like it's interesting with I think, but like I said, both those teams are very minimal panic because you weren't expecting to be here. The Rams are rebuilding pretty much, or everything else besides Stafford, and then the Lions, again, haven't been here in years, so it's just good for them to be back.
All right. Now we will get into the point of the podcast where I will piss off Shay probably the most. And I love to do that.
You're with everybody else. You're going to say the Bears are going to beat the Packers?
Let's run it. All right. AFC, first place. I have the Baltimore Ravens.
I think
they're very clinched.
They already locked in.
The number 2 seed will be the Miami Dolphins.
Interesting.
I have them winning this week. Spoiler to my prediction. The Kansas City Chiefs win the 3 seed, which they already have. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville is the 4 seed.
So they win. They get in. Okay.
Browns are the 5 seed.
They're already clinched that pretty much.
Houston is the 6 seed.
That means they won and got the 6, right?
The Steelers are the 7.
So how does it work? If Buffalo loses and Pittsburgh wins, does Pittsburgh get in?
But if Houston loses, then the Colts get in.
Yeah, I know that game is winner of that game gets in the playoffs. Either they're winning the division or they're getting a wild card spot. But I guess, is that how it is? If Buffalo loses, Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh gets in?
So I guess so, yeah. I mean, I'll put it through the machine.
Because there was a way that Pittsburgh got in, but that just seems too easy to me. Like, I thought it was... I didn't realize Buffalo lost and they're out. Like, I didn't think... And Buffalo lost and Pittsburgh won.
Yeah.
So Buffalo's pretty much in the same... They're in the same spot as the Packers right now. But the thing is, if Buffalo wins, they also win the division. Mm-hmm. That's weird. So the Buffaloes either win or they're out unless the Steelers lose.
Yeah,
but
unless the
Steelers are playing the Ravens with backups.
Yeah,
so the Steelers should win. So it's really winner. It's Buffalo's either the 2 seed or they're out. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, so hold on. Let's play this game. If the Colts win, the Colts get the. Hold on. So say Jacksonville and the Colts win. Jacksonville gets in. The Colts get in. Steelers win. Bills lose. Yeah, essentially Pittsburgh just has to win.
And the Bills.
Unless the Bills win. If the Bills win, then the Steelers are out.
Yeah, that's what... No, I know that. That's what I know for a fact.
Because Miami's already clinched.
Miami's clinched. I know Miami's either getting the 2 or the 6 or something like that.
So that's how that works.
But I just didn't know that if Buffalo lost, they're basically out. That's...
Essentially, yeah. So that's why that's the biggest game.
All right. They're the 6 seed. I know that's because Buffalo has like the worst tiebreaker out of everyone, right? Like they have the worst tiebreaker.
It sucks because they kind of just fell off in the beginning of the season, so they had.
Yeah,
to,
they've been playing. Listen, Buffalo is like, if Buffalo wins this game, which I actually think they will win this game, as much as Miami played bad, I was going into this game thinking Buffalo was going to win this game. If Buffalo wins this game and gets a 2 seed, they are dangerous, and honestly, they might be the favorites to come out of the AFC, for me at least. I know Baltimore's the best team, but I don't trust Baltimore in the playoffs. I actually would trust Buffalo more, but I think that Buffalo's a scary team if they just know to hand the ball off. That's a big thing.
All right, we move on. In my NFC prediction, the Niners get the 1 seed, obviously. Dallas gets the 2 seed. Detroit gets a 3. Tampa Bay gets the 4. I think they win this week.
They win, they clean business. Makes sense.
Philly gets the 5.
Mm-hmm.
They win this week. Even if they lost, they still get the 5 because of Dallas. Dallas has a tiebreaker. The Rams get the 6.
The
Seattle gets a 7. I think Chicago.
Listen, everyone's on board with Chicago this week. They're hot. I understand.
So
they are hot. That's
my pick this week.
I know. Listen, I'm not gonna. Everyone's on board with Chicago, so it's. They don't know the numbers. They don't know the 0-5 and 0-9. That's what it's been. But I get it. Everyone's riding the hot Chicago Bears.
Yeah. My King of the Hill pick is Cowboys this week.
Is Cowboys?
It's not even close. You look at the other games, it's just like, I'm gonna take that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the next biggest spread, I think, is the Browns game at 7.
Bengals -7.
Yeah, that's it.
There was one other game I was looking at that to pick. Tampa Bay wasn't a terrible one, but that's a divisional game. No, there was one more. I thought that was
Philly.
Philly was the other one.
Philly
but
Giants.
Honestly, I wouldn't trust Philly because
Exactly.
Philly almost single-handedly ruined my life last week.
They did.
They did basically Philly winning almost screwed everything. If Seattle didn't lose last week, Philly would have single-handedly screwed everything for me because I needed the Rams or Seahawks to lose, and then I needed Philly to win. But Philly losing locked the Niners into the 1 seed, meaning they didn't have to play for anything this week, so they could sit their guys. So it would have guaranteed the Rams a win pretty much. And it would have guaranteed Seattle a win. Or if Seattle would have won last week, both those teams would have just needed to win against all backups, and they would have gotten into the playoffs, and the Packers would have had no chance then, even if they won out.
All right. So as we go on, we'll move on to our predictions. Oh, that's right. Before we get into our predictions, I wanted to tally up the score count on the points. Shay has 126 points.
I have to be in first, right?
You are in first.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I've done the best. I did good early on. I feel like all around I've done the best this year.
I have 113 points.
Okay, so yeah.
The week 1 essentially killed me. Week 1 killed me. What other week killed me?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was pretty sure I was up by quite a bit in the points. I did pretty good early. I remember being up early on by a decent amount.
Yeah, week 1 killed me, and week 13 killed me.
I like I said, I never like to toot my own horn, but I usually do a decent job of picking NFL games. Like I feel like I could read like what's going to happen in a game at a decent level.
Max, I have to say, I wish he was here more often because
Max might be in first.
Max would definitely be in first.
Listen, he has no logic behind it. I swear he just picks the favorite half the time, and you know what? He's usually right. So
no, sometimes there's weird times he'll take
the underdog and they win.
And the underdog and they win. It will be like
I will say, yeah, Max actually might like if he was here every week, I think he would be in first.
He has 84 points being here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How many have we done?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 out of the.
So we've done 12, and he's done
13.
But he's done 8. He's at 80. What? 84.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he would be on. He's about 10.5 a week. So he'd be at about 126. He'd be tied with me right now if we went by like numbers ways.
Yeah.
Me and him would be tied for.
Exactly. I didn't count Ezra's special guest. What you call it? The one special guest we had, Jack. Jack had 4 points.
He was terrible.
He was really bad.
Awful.
Ezra was pretty bad.
Ezra was good, right? He probably did decent.
He did a little bit worse than us. He had a couple picks.
Okay, but again, he did okay.
He did okay.
It seemed like he did okay.
Jack did not.
Yeah, he picked against us every single time, I feel like, and was basically wrong for all those except the locked up games.
So that's how the point system is going to work. Essentially, Shay won this year.
Unless I botch it, unless I go like 0 for this week and you win like every single one, yeah. There are 16 games we're picking from this week, so you know there's a chance.
You have 18 potential points to get. No.
Yeah, 18 because
Yeah,
the
18,
one
yeah.
lock and one upset.
Yeah, so 18 potential points this week. I'll just start it off. Steelers, Ravens. I'm taking the Steelers this week. Steelers are playing their guys. Ravens aren't.
Yeah, Steelers are playing for something Ravens aren't. They really don't care, the Ravens. Are the Ravens, here's the question. Are the Ravens playing none of their guys? They're not starting anybody?
I don't know. I know Lamar's not starting.
He's not? Because think about this. They're about to go 2 weeks without playing because they have a bye too.
Yeah.
Does that make you worry a little bit about see, if this was me, I would have played your starters for the first half because I don't think you could not play your starters for 2 whole games. That's a little question. Like to go 2 to 3 straight weeks technically without playing a game, that's a lot. I feel like that's a lot.
I mean, again, it's really up to the coach here.
No, it is. But again, I think that's a little. I think because that's a game where then you go against like the Browns.
That's a physical matchup.
And the Browns push you around the first quarter or so and get up like 7-0 or 14-0, and you're looking like, oh God, maybe we shouldn't have let our guys Lamar sit for 3 weeks because now he kind of looks like crap. And then he finally gets into rhythm, but it's too late at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
Like I said, if the Ravens lose in that first game, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but like I said, again, they're so hot right now.
True, very true.
I'm just
even
I'm
with their
okay
backups, they could possibly win this game
Yeah,
against
they could.
Pittsburgh. Because Tyler Huntley's probably going to get the start at
Probably.
quarterback. I mean, he's not bad.
I would assume. All right, a winning game for one of these teams. Texans at Colts. I'm taking the Texans.
CJ Stroud gets in his rookie year. This is not only winning, this is a win in possible. You win the division at this game, possibly, if Jacksonville loses.
Correct. You win the division.
Is
if
Trevor Lawrence
Jacksonville
playing?
loses.
I assume he'll play.
Yeah, he's been practicing, so I'm pretty sure he's playing.
But again, I think the Titans are coming for blood this week.
Let me make sure.
Because they had a similar game last year against Jacksonville. However, they had Josh Dobbs starting at quarterback. But the Titans played the Jaguars last year. I think both of them whoever won the game won the division. And the Jaguars were this team that came out on top. Mike Vrabel came out at a press conference, said he's tired of losing. He said a lot of curse words, and he was very unhappy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Texans-Colts. It's in Indianapolis, isn't it?
Correct.
Oof.
This one's tough.
This is a big game for C.J. Stroud. However, it's Gardner Minshew for the Colts. I'm going to ride with you. I'm going to say the Houston Texans get it done this week. Their younger roster gets it done.
Yeah, I think they're a fun roster. Watch, they're the team that's going to have to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round. And the Kansas City Chiefs are probably licking their chops like, oh, we got away with one where we didn't have to play the
Thank God we got to play a rookie quarterback in his first playoff game. Yeah.
So that's probably pretty nice. In Arrowhead, too, one of the hardest places to play.
The Chiefs get that. Listen, the Chiefs, you look at the path, the Chiefs got a good shot to go to the AFC Championship game again because you play that, and then what? You play Miami, who you already beat.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go to Miami, which is annoying, but it's
fine.
Like,
that's fine. It's not like going to freaking. Well, they already play in the cold up there in KC, so it's not. Like,
yeah, but it's yeah. I mean, Miami's good at home, but still, it's not like you said, you're not going to freaking Lambeau Field to play in the negative 20 degree with 6 inches of snow coming down. So.
Browns at Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals. Browns aren't playing their guys.
Yeah, Browns are literally benching like they're hurt already, so they're not playing anyone. The Bengals will probably win this game to make themselves 9-8, feel better, and get a worse draft pick.
Yep. Vikings at Lions. I'm taking the Lions this week.
Do the Lions have anything to play for in this game, though? That's what I'm like. I don't know if they have any. Actually, don't know if they have anything to play for in this game. I'm pretty sure they've locked up the 6th seed.
I'm not sure if the Lions.
However, Dan
playing.
Campbell doesn't buy me as the type of guy to put anybody out this week.
Yeah, the Lions are still favored by -3.5. I think everybody's playing. Yeah, I don't see anything here about guys resting. I really don't. So I think
I know Nick Mullins is starting for the Vikings, so like thank God for them because Jesus Christ, that other guy's awful.
Yeah.
Bryce Hall or whatever.
Yeah,
that guy was terrible. I was praying that they were going to leave him in at the game just to because he was that bad.
Yeah, I know.
I was praying. Like I was so glad when they kept him, and I was like, just keep this guy in. He's awful.
Yeah, he was terrible.
I'll take the Lions too though because like I said, I feel like they're going to play their starters for a little bit, and the Vikings might have given up after that loss. There is a chance the Vikings can make the playoffs still.
Right.
They need
Packers
to win.
to
The Packers lose. Seahawks lose. I think they're the next team up.
Yeah, they're in the next team.
Even and the Saints to lose too. I think they need or something.
Yeah,
like that. There's a way
essentially.
the Saints can win and get a wild card spot too.
So there's a way they can make it, but it's very tough for their path. And they still have to go through the Lions as well. Jaguars at Titans this week. I'm taking the Jags. This one's going to be really close because
I agree. I think it'll be a good close match. Come down to the ends.
the Jaguars have struggled like so much this season. It's insane. The way they've just struggled, and
I will say the Jaguars are actually. This is weird because I feel like if you look at them last year, like they were a really high-powered offense and not so good defensively. I feel like they're a very good team on defense this year, and offense they're struggling a lot. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing too well this year. He's been banged up a lot, but again, he's also been out. He hasn't had Christian Kirk. I don't know if Christian Kirk's coming back or when he's coming back.
They've lost 4 of their 5 games without Christian Kirk.
So that's big. But I think they'll get this one done and get into the playoffs and have an interesting matchup in the first round with the Browns.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup. I'll probably take the Browns that one. But again, we will wait till that comes out. And we move on. Jets at Patriots this week. I'm taking the Patriots. Jets haven't beat them in 15.
Jesus Christ. Who cares about
times.
this game?
Yeah, it's literally a nothing game.
Wow.
This literally means nothing.
The Patriots almost beat the Bills last week.
Again, the Patriots have not lost to the Jets in 15 straight
No,
times.
I know. The Patriots will win this game 100%. Like, the Jets never beat the Patriots as much. I think the Jets fans would be happy if they won this game. They don't care about anything else. If they could beat the Patriots once, like, that would be fantastic for them.
I think this is there's 1, 2 games that don't have playoff implications. This is one of them, and the Broncos and the Raiders are the other one of them.
That's it? That have no teams playing for any type of...
Nothing. That's literally it. Every other team is playing for something.
Well, I mean, some teams are... There's a lot of teams sitting guys, but like Niners, Rams, both of those guys are sitting guys. But again, that still has like... There's still like things with that game.
Yeah, the Rams, I think, can still move back.
The Rams can go... If the Packers win and the Rams lose, the Packers move ahead because they have the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
And they'll have the same record.
So, exactly.
Right? The Rams are 10-6. Or no. They're 9-6, right?
Yeah,
no, 9-7 right now.
Hold on, this is where we hit the NFL playoff machine.
Yeah, check if the Packers win and the Rams lose. I feel like they
Packers wins, Rams lose, Packers do jump them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, because we had the tiebreaker head.
So that's why I just like every team has something.
Yeah, there's something going on in every game besides those 2 games.
All right, so Falcons at Saints this week. I'm taking the Saints.
The Saints will win and they'll be 9-8. They probably won't get in. And they'll be very disappointed with their season because there's so many games that they've lost that they shouldn't have lost. They're such a weird team, the Saints. Thought they'd be better this year.
Yeah, so Saints are a tough team. I think they win this week, essentially eliminating the Falcons' chance. And even if they do win, they still don't get in on my path.
Because yes, most likely Seattle. But again, you never know. That the Arizona Cardinals. Basically call them the Purdue Boilermakers in the NFL because they ruin teams' chances of doing stuff. They beat Dallas earlier in the year. They beat Philly. You know, they just come in those unexpected games and they get stuff done. So maybe they'll get it done against Seattle too. Who knows?
All right. Buccaneers at Panthers. I'm taking the Bucs.
Is Baker playing? Is he back? He got hurt last game.
This is why I have the computer out, folks. Buccaneers. Baker is not on the injury report, so he's playing.
He's good to go. Listen, I'm going with Baker's been playing good this year for the most part. Give me Baker Mayfield to get this Bucs team into the playoffs. And they'll get to play the Eagles in the first round.
Eagles or the Cowboys?
Most likely the Eagles. Listen, don't count them out in that game either. Especially if it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
Just because the Eagles were playing bad. They've been playing bad.
Yeah.
And it's in Tampa Bay, so you get a home playoff game it's pretty good for you. So
yeah,
it is good for Tampa Bay, good for Baker. I saw a guy talk about the we have comeback player of the year and we should have a comeback player of the year and most improved player, because there's a big difference between comeback and most improved. Because last year Geno Smith won comeback player of the year. What did he come back from? Sucking. He came back from sucking. Okay. Most improved, Geno would be perfect for that. This year, comeback player of the year award, DeMar Hamlin, coming back from death.
Joe Flacco should win the freaking award.
Listen, what did he come back? He said it himself, though. What did he come back from? The couch? That's what he said.
Exactly.
He came back from the couch.
Oh, God, DeMar Hamlin's going to win it. I know it.
He is. And listen, he is going to win it. And that's just how it is. But who would win the most improved player award? Baker Mayfield, wasn't on a team last year for most of the year.
Yeah.
Or got bounced around and started the last couple of games. Took a team to the playoffs. That'd be a pretty most improving award to give him.
Yeah. No, it would be. All right, Shay. Your favorite matchup, Bears at Packers this week. I'm going with the Bears. Shay, take it away.
I'm picking the Bears
I know
too
you are.
because every time I pick the other team, the Packers win.
You took the Vikings last week.
I know, and the Packers won. And the one time, when the one time I took the Packers to win, actually the twice, I'm not even kidding. Go back and look at it. The only time I took the Packers against the Panthers because that was different. I took the Packers against the Giants, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And the Giants won. And then the next week I said that the Packers would win. So I took the Packers and the Buccaneers won. If you go back a couple games before that, I was taking the other team against the Packers and they were winning. Am I superstitious? Not really, but I'm going to take the Bears because I'm taking
It's
the
like
Bears.
I'm kind of superstitious about this one.
I'm taking the Bears. Listen, I'll talk about the game, okay? The Bears are hot. They've won the last 5 out of 7 games they've won. And those 2 that they lost, they probably shouldn't have lost because one was against the Browns that they were up by a lot. Like, if you look at it, the Bears have lost a bunch of games this year that should they have lost? Probably not. However, we look at week 1. We look at week 1. The Packers smacked the Bears. Now, were the Bears terrible? Yes.
This is a completely different.
This
Bears
is also
team.
the Packers' first game. This is Jordan Love's first game of the season.
But this is
How much better does Jordan Love look? Jordan Love looks fit. I'm arguing that Jordan Love might be a top 10 quarterback already, the way he's been playing. Jordan Love has been playing great football. He is, I think his last so many games, he has 20 touchdowns to 1 interception since like week 8.
Yeah. Oh,
the one bad game against the Giants. That was his one bad game that he's played.
Yeah.
Everything else he's been phenomenal against.
Well, it's funny because you look at the Aaron Rodgers stats from his first
They're
year.
exactly the same. They're
literally
identical besides
identical.
record. We have
Yeah.
Jordan Love has a better record than, but
They're identical.
if you actually go by the first starts, that includes the Kansas City game Jordan Love started a couple years ago, or it might have been last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember. It's actually like identical, like same exact passer rating. The numbers are identical. The records are even the same. It's crazy. Like it's like weird when you look at it. But again, I watched Jordan Love last week against Minnesota. The offensive line is playing good. Jordan Love looks calm, collected. He's making throws while floating in the air off his back foot. He looks like a lot like Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy. And he's playing great. Aaron Jones is back and healthy. Jair Alexander will play this week. And you know who's not playing for the Bears is Jalen Johnson. Well, he hasn't practiced in days. Not even so. It's been like 3 days of do not practice. Most likely he's not going to play. Which he's been arguably the best corner in the league this year. He's been playing phenomenal. The Bears defense has been top 5 the past so many weeks. But
yeah, Jalen Johnson doubtful.
Yeah, he
Darnell
has.
Mooney
Darnell
out.
Mooney's out. They have a lot of guys
Komet
questionable too.
and Herbert out or questionable.
They have a lot of guys questionable, but
Musgrave IR.
this is a 4:25 primetime game on CBS. I assume Tony Romo and Jim Nantz will be doing this game.
No, they'll be doing the Giants game.
There's no way. Honestly, I would I assume they do this game.
The Giants game is actually on CBS.
It is, yeah.
That's funny.
This should be the Tony Romo and their game. I'm honestly surprised I actually thought this was going to be the night game, but then I thought about it. I'm like, can a team have back-to-back night games? I'm not sure if you could do that. And the Bills-Dolphins game is also, I had a feeling that one would be it too. It was that one or this one. But this one, yeah, there's big expectations. This game, this is the Bears Super Bowl right here.
Yeah.
This is literally, I've seen multiple Bears fans, even before this game, they say if this game is a win and get in for the Packers, this is the Bears Super Bowl. The Bears could have been 3-13 at this point. It's still their Super Bowl. They would play it like, and if you look at it, this is the exact way that happened to the Packers last year. They were 8-8, playing against the Lions. Is there a way the Bears still make the playoffs?
No, they're eliminated.
Oh, they are eliminated now? I thought there was I saw something that they had a 0.3 chance.
No, they're eliminated.
But, okay, so they're playing for nothing. As the Lions going in, we're actually playing for something until Seattle won. Then they were playing for nothing last year. But same thing. However, this one's home. I don't remember if the Packers were home last game of the season last year. They were home?
They were. I remember Aaron Rodgers walking to the tunnel.
But I don't remember if it was the Green Bay tunnel. It was home.
They were home.
So yeah, this is exactly like last year. Jordan Love. This is a rebuilding Packers team, all young guys with some guys playing phenomenal. The thing is, I'm not sure if Jaden Reed's going to play, which is huge for the Packers. Who knows if Christian Watson's going to be back? Packers have a lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
So it's a big game, and it's going to be an exciting game. That's for sure. This is the oldest rivalry in NFL history. So
it's going to be fun. Game nobody cares about. Broncos at Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders. Raiders are going to play hard.
Sure. Sounds good. I'll take the Raiders too.
Shay, we have the same exact picks.
Because they're the right picks.
Until we get to the end. All right.
Until we get to, because yes, I will take
Eagles at Giants. I'm taking the Eagles. Love the Giants. great season. But
I want to take the Giants out of spite that I hate the Eagles now. I actually have a strong hating for the Eagles for so many reasons. Again, I literally was like, oh, yeah, I'll be different than you last week, and I picked the Eagles because I was like, just in case something happens. And, of course, that just in case happens, but it came in my way in the Eagles. I don't think I've picked wrong in that King of the Hill in forever.
It's been
the last time I picked wrong was that Buffalo game, which was like the largest spread in history. And this was what? This was a 14-point spread or 13-point spread. This one was a crazy point spread.
Yeah.
So like to lose, I was honestly shocked. But you know what? Things happen. It goes how it goes. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, the Eagles are not playing good football. They were up.
They're not.
By half. By 14
it was
points.
20. It was 21-6 at half.
Yeah, and I was like,
and
okay.
then it was 21-21, I think, or something like that in like a heartbeat. Like,
thank you, James Conner. I also want to apologize to you, James Conner. I called you a.
Yeah, you talked about how he was off. You and Max said how he was like one of the worst running backs in the league. I'm like, this guy's a good running back. He's proven that he's a pretty good freaking running back.
Listen,
I had him at like 20. He might be top 15, honestly.
I felt so bad. I was like, brother, you a bad back. You terrible. I want to apologize.
Yes, the guy with the worst fantasy team in our league actually won the fantasy
That's
league.
not true. I did not have the worst fantasy team.
You were bottom 3.
I was bottom 3, but I came out number 1 because I made that trade.
Yes, pretty much.
Because I made a trade.
And you actually almost lost it because Jefferson didn't really do too much the last game. But your guys, like Rachaad White and James Conner, none of them ever went off phenomenally. But they overprojected every single week that you needed them to. They got the job done.
Dude, they were insane.
And whoever you played, their team, shit the bed.
Yeah.
They had issues.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey got hurt.
McCaffrey got hurt.
Josh Gibbs had,
Jahmyr Gibbs had a bad game.
His worst game of the season.
When you played me, Alvin Kamara had his worst game of the season. Yeah. Travis Kelce, I think, also had his worst game of the season.
Yeah, I mean...
Tyreek Hill. I mean, he actually played okay, Tyreek Hill, but
also like even like if I match up against some other teams, like I still beat almost half the league.
No, you scored like 115, but like you were like you scored projections or like over projection, but like just barely. Like you were just over. Your guys did just like they got the projections and did a little bit better. Like you didn't have anybody ever go off. Yeah. Like you were your guys just did their job. Hockenson almost
screwed me. Yeah. Hockenson got hurt, and I was like, oh no,
your guys just did they did their job. And just a little better. Like nobody went off. They all just did solid, and it got you the win, which is like
that's what I wanted on my fantasy. Because I was like, there's games that Barkley's gonna get shut down. And I'm like, there's games that Amon-Ra St. Brown might like. Actually, St. Brown's very consistent. So, dude, when I traded Ramon, I didn't know I drafted Ramondre Stevenson. I traded my first, second, and third round pick. Ramondre was my third round pick.
Wow, he was bad.
Do you have to understand this?
It was bad.
I traded my first, second, and third round pick for a first round guy.
Just a Ramondre in the third. I mean, I guess he was projected to be pretty good.
For the number 1 overall pick, and James Conner and
Rachaad White, which were probably like Rachaad White was probably like a 4th, 5th round guy. James Conner was probably about that too.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
and not only that, you drafted Jefferson and James Conner on the IR. You got to thank the guys that you had to play in those weeks when those guys were hurt because you looked like you weren't going to make the playoffs and you just won. Like you weren't expected to win and you won.
Well, I knew I was going to make the playoffs because essentially I looked at it. I was like 3 and 4 when I made that trade. So I was already like had 3 wins. And
but again, you basically screwed your team for weeks with that trade. Like you made their team terrible.
I made my team literally completely awful. And I was like, well, I might as well just, screw it. Because I also played the worst teams in that stretch. Mm-hmm. I played your dad, Uncle Seamus.
When you look at it, my dad's team was pretty freaking good, man. I made his team good because I gave him Mostert.
It was.
He picked up Kyren Williams and Puka. Like his team became like good. I looked at the last time I played you. I beat you like 145-7. I beat you by like 70 points.
Yeah, because I had nobody playing.
But even still, my team scored 145. And then you look at my team was like I scored the most points in the league, so my team was doing good every single week. Then you get to the playoffs, and my team stunk because that's just how my luck is and how fantasy goes for me. I can craft the greatest team ever. Like you looked at my team from like a few weeks ago on paper. This team was like crafted from like God himself. I had like 5 top like first and second round picks on the team. Like you had Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Tyreek. Like this team was crafted from a God. Like this team was perfect, and they all just sucked. That's basically what happens.
What should I call it? Yeah, I mean. The chance I win back-to-back years, chance you win twice in 4 years is
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
0.05.
And like I said, last year your team was very like last year you had a good
Last
team,
year I
very
had a
good team. So like that was like expected, like
Yes.
you would have. But this year
I drafted insane last year.
you were by far I mean, you were what, a 6 seed or whatever, but you were like the underdog by far because like your team
Yeah.
on paper was. I mean, I would have taken my dad's team over yours, and he was like stuck into the playoffs. Your team over I think you probably had the second worst team in the playoffs. I would take Max's team was the worst.
Yeah, Max's team was pretty.
But you were next to me.
Yeah, I was pretty bad.
And Max's team was only the worst because he got injured. But everyone got injured, so he was the unlucky one this year in injury
Yeah,
for.
he's the unlucky one. Yeah, I don't mess around with those injuries. I just take them. I take the injury guys. Come on, guys.
Well, Max got the guys out for the season. Nick Chubb out for the year.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker missed a bunch of games. Herbert got hurt, so that screwed Keenan Allen up pretty much, and then he didn't play.
Max kind of got screwed, but that's what happens. All right, Seahawks at Cardinals this week. I'm taking the Seahawks.
I want the Seahawks to lose, but I'll take the Seahawks. Because there's a way the Packers could lose and still get in. If Seattle loses, if the Vikings lose, and then if the Saints lose, they get in.
Wait, but didn't you lose to the Falcons?
Yeah, but they're like, what's their record? They only have 6 wins right now or something.
They're 7-8.
Oh, but there's a way they somehow.
No, I'm pretty sure if the Falcons lose, dude, you're out. The Falcons win, you're out.
I'm telling you, I saw a thing on it. Check. Ready? Check this. Check.
Oh, no, you're still in.
Yeah. No, if we lose, make it we lose. We lose.
No, you're out.
Seattle loses. No, Seattle loses. Yeah.
Wow, you're still, wow.
We need, if Seattle loses, the Vikings lose, and then the Saints lose. Or even if the Saints win, check the Saints win. Tampa Bay loses. Check Tampa Bay, and then Tampa Bay loses, we get in. Yeah. It's weird how it works.
Vikings win.
If they win, they get in. Yes, that's their way of getting in. If everyone loses, and they get in.
Yeah, so you get in if
basically everyone who has a chance to win. Like we need everyone to lose, which it's possible, but it's still just like.
Yeah, that Falcon Saint game shit doesn't matter to you if the
Tampa Bay loses.
If Tampa Bay loses.
Yeah, but if Tampa Bay wins, then we need the Saints to lose because they could also.
Yes, they could sneak in. All right, we move on. Chiefs at Chargers. I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm not sure if the Chiefs are. Wait, no, Mahomes isn't playing this week.
Oh, he's not.
Because they're locked into the 3 seed. I'm pretty sure.
I'm still taking the Chiefs. The Chargers suck.
They do. I'm pretty sure. What's the spread on that game? I'm curious. Chargers are actually favored 3.5.
Yeah, I'm still taking the Chiefs.
I'll take the Chargers. Why not? Make themselves have a worse draft pick. That's the Chargers' way to do it. They can't even lose right. That's the Chargers' way.
All right, Rams at 49ers. I'm taking the 49ers this week. They're at home, and that's about it. Both playing their backups this week, so I'll take the Niners.
Yeah, give me the Niners. Again, this is that matchup. In the regular season, the Niners always beat the Rams. It's just how it is. And I'm hoping the Niners win. Because as much as everyone wants to see a Matt Stafford reunion going to Ford Field, right? Is that what the Lions play at Ford Field?
Yeah.
Reunion at Ford Field against his old team. Listen, every single Lions fan, I think, pretty much loves Matt Stafford, what he did for them.
Yeah.
And if he were to go and ruin their first playoff and they had a chance to win a playoff game finally, and they lose because of Matt Stafford, oh boy, I think Detroit fans are going to think much differently of that man.
I hope we see that game.
But I honestly if the Packers get in, I would want them to play Detroit because last time they played Detroit, they won. They beat up on Detroit pretty good. But again, this is a good Detroit team still, but it's one of those matchups where it's a divisional game. Anything can really happen.
Yeah, you just hope it's a holiday for Jordan Love.
It's because he balls on holidays,
Thanksgiving and
New Year's.
He
Listen, he's been balling he's been balling the second half of the year. So I don't care. If you look at the numbers, if the Packers were so this guy said it, and I actually kind of agree. If you look at the numbers, and the Packers were like a 12 or 11 or 12 win team, we would be talking about Jordan Love for MVP because he's like third in the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns. He has like 30 or 31 passing touchdowns, like 4 rushing touchdowns. He's probably second in all total touchdowns. Or no, Jalen Hurts. He's probably fourth, I would say, in total touchdowns. Yards, he's doing pretty good. Passer rating, he's solid. Like, his numbers are pretty good.
Jordan Love and Christmas went off, too. So, Jordan Love is...
Who'd they play on Christmas? I don't know.
Panthers.
That was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
But yeah, he's still pretty.
still
He's
pretty
been balling. I'm telling you, he's been good. I went from saying Jordan Love was our quarterback of the future to Jordan Love sucks to now Jordan Love is our quarterback of the future. Just like the season. Because he looked bad for a while, but now he's playing good.
All right. Let's take the last 5 minutes here. We timed this perfectly. Bills at Dolphins this week. I'm taking the Dolphins. Listen, this is a bounce-back game for the Dolphins. Dolphins want to win this one.
That is true. I actually thought the Dolphins were going to win last week against Baltimore. I was really hoping the Browns would get the 1 seed, but they got obliterated. So now I want to be like, oh, Dolphins bounce-back game. But
Dolphins bounce-back game.
I don't want to change my mind. I want to keep what I had going into this game as what I had. Bills and Josh Allen to get into the playoffs. I think Bills are just hot right now. They had a bad game. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic either. It was an game against New England, but again, divisional game. Just get it done however you can. Keep rolling.
Yeah. See, this is one of those games if for Miami, it lines all up perfectly. You just got mauled by the Ravens. You're at home. You're versing a familiar opponent.
Someone that beat up on you earlier in the year.
Yeah, someone that beat up you
early in the year.
But
if you're Miami, you're locked into the playoffs. So, again, you want to win the division and get that home playoff game. But now, here's the thing. If Buffalo wins, they don't play each other in the first round, right? Miami has to go to Kansas City. They get the 6th seed, right?
Miami gets the 6th seed, so they got to go to KC.
And Buffalo gets in, has the higher – they're ahead of KC?
Yeah. Wait, what did you say?
Is there a way that Buffalo can play Miami again in the first round?
I don't think so.
I think Kansas City's locked into that 3 seed,
because
right?
Miami's 11-5. They would just go down to the 6.
And Buffalo would go up to 11-6, and Kansas City, even if they won, they would have the same record. But Buffalo has the head.
Buffalo has the head-to-head.
Yeah. Okay. So Miami, it's win, and you get a nice, comfortable game in the first rounds against Pittsburgh if you win.
Yeah.
Because if Pittsburgh wins, you get Pittsburgh. Or you get a loss and you got to go to Kansas City, which is not what you want to do. But again, this is Buffalo win or die. So I think Buffalo and Josh Allen, who you could argue Josh Allen, he has a lot of turnovers this year, but he has the most touchdowns by far. You could argue Josh Allen's the MVP.
Yeah, so there's a way the Steelers still win and not get in.
Yeah, how does that happen?
Okay, so the Steelers win, Jaguars win, Texans win, Colts. So essentially, if the Jaguars win, hold on.
Does this have Miami or Buffalo winning?
This is if, hold on. That's if Buffalo wins. So
if Buffalo wins, the Steelers don't get in. But I'm saying if Miami wins. As long as Miami wins and the Steelers win, I think, unless there's a tie.
Absolutely. Yeah, unless there's a tie. Yeah, unless you tie.
So Buffalo needs to hope for a tie to even get in. No, I'm pretty sure it's literally if Miami wins,
tie that. Yeah.
Steelers win, they're in.
Steelers essentially win, but again, Miami also has to win that game. So, yeah, that's what I'm taking here. I think, like I said, I think my playoff prediction's pretty nice. We got a doubleheader Saturday. So good football on Saturday between the Texans and the Colts, Ravens, Steelers. That's going to suck tomorrow. I think the Steelers should probably beat them up. But you never know. It's a divisional game.
I was hoping they'd put the Jaguars game. What they should have done is put the Colts-Texans game at 4:25, and then the Jaguars as the night game. So the winner of that is already in the playoffs, and then they get to watch to see if they could win the division by beating Jacksonville at that night, or they're getting the playoffs. They should have done that. That would have been cool. Or you put the Jacksonville game first to see if they get in, and then you put that game at night to see oh guys, winner of this gets in the playoffs.
I didn't think the Steelers game needed to be in.
No, that one. No one. Again, that doesn't mean or anything.
It doesn't really mean too much anymore, especially since this Baltimore got in.
Steelers win, Bills lose.
It doesn't mean anything. Or I rather would have seen the Falcons.
But if the Jaguars lose, the Steelers also get in.
Jaguars lose. Do the Steelers lose?
No, Steelers win. Steelers have to win.
Oh, okay.
Unless they could tie, and then the Jaguars have to lose, and the Texans and Colts doesn't end in a tie. The Steelers can't lose.
Oh, there's a way Buffalo loses and still gets in.
There is a way Buffalo. Yeah, the Steelers lose.
No, the Steelers can still win. All right, so here's the scenario.
Oh, if the Jaguars lose.
Yeah, so the Jaguars
But if the Texans win, check if the Texans win, because I feel like that's something different. Oh, no, okay.
No.
So, yeah,
so essentially the Jaguars lose, the Bills will get in. no matter what.
Yes, if the Jaguars. But again, the Jaguars are playing the Titans. We don't expect them to lose.
So a lot of playoff implications will happen through the next 48 hours, almost 48 hours. Yeah, anything else on the playoffs, Shay?
Actually, what's the spread in that Miami game? I'm curious. It's Bills. Bills are favorite in Miami. Interesting. No, I think it's everyone loves Week 18 in the NFL with all those. Some teams aren't playing for anything, but we got a lot of games that we have a lot of backup quarterbacks playing though, so we might not get a lot of good games. But
Tyrod,
if we're looking at games to watch,
go Tyrod.
I mean,
Giants game, turn on 4:25.
this-
CBS, probably Ian Eagles like doing the game. I don't know.
nah, he does the 1:00 games. Iron Eagle. Look at Saturday. That Steelers Ravens game. Again, obviously it's the only game on, so that's the game to
Falcons
watch.
Saints, watch out.
But that Saturday game, that's the one to watch. You want to watch that game at night.
Want to watch the Giant game?
1:00.
Falcons Saints.
No, I would target probably
Falcons Saints.
why Falcons Saints.
Because
I would say Buccaneers because that's a win and get in game for Tampa Bay.
yeah, but also that
The Falcons Saints game might not mean anything if the Buccaneers win.
yeah, but like the Buccaneers are probably gonna win.
Yeah, so that's that game. Then the Steelers game means nothing.
It's not many games at 1:00. You should really watch.
Like I said, I think it's the Bucks is that win. They're winning get in. That's about it. Oh no, wait, Jaguars. Are they 1:00 too?
Yeah,
So if that one's at 1:00, that one's another one to target because those are the winning getting games.
yeah. The 4:25 and the 8:30 are the big ones.
4:25 is the Packers Bears. That's the game to watch.
That's a good one.
And then the night game obviously is
And the Seahawks game. Watch the Seahawks game too.
Yeah, Seahawks because again that's the other team to get in. But that's it for 4:25.
And the Giants game. Make sure you turn that on. 4:25.
I don't think I'll be. I'm from New York and I will not have that game on.
I'll have that game on. They're a good team.
They're a good team.
Giants are a great team. Giants fought their heart out this season.
Are they 5-11 right now?
5-11. We can
If
still
they lose, do they get like a top 5 pick?
we can still get the 2 seed right now.
You still get the 2 seed?
Number 1,
Number 2 pick?
number 2 pick at the draft.
Listen, it's looking more and more like possible quarterback drafting for the Giants if they get that high pick.
Depends. Really depends.
You see that mock draft? Drake May is now the number 1 guy over Caleb Williams.
I've seen.
Well,
that.
actually, they're 3 and 4. It had Marvin Harrison at 1 and Brock Bowers at 2.
Yeah.
And listen, Bears fans are content with Justin Fields.
They
So
like him.
interesting.
It depends on if Ryan Poles like him.
I'm all for keeping Justin Fields. Okay.
The only reason why I know Ryan Poles' name is because that Keyshawn Nixon every morning when I listen to that motherfucker.
Keyshawn Nixon.
I'm not Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Johnson.
I love Keyshawn Nixon.
Keyshawn Johnson. Every time he'd talk about his good buddy Ryan Poles, and it's the only reason why I remember his freaking name. So yeah, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoy Week 18 of the NFL, and we'll see you guys.
We'll be back next week. We could do our check like who we had making the play. We could kind of look back and see who we had making the playoffs, how we did with our predictions.
Yeah, we definitely have to do that. Let's see what teams we had. We probably had a lot more teams that we said. We probably had like 12 or 13 teams that were like, yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs.
I had the Saints win the division. I know they lost.
I had the Packers win division. They didn't win it.
Yeah, but they might be the playoffs, so you might be right with that.
Yeah.
I might even have the Seahawks win the division though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta look. I don't know.
I don't think I had the Lions win the division. I think I had the Vikings. So
Yeah,
there's a
There's
lot.
a lot. All right. See you guys next time. Peace out.